Hey guys, welcome to Call Me Crazy. I'm Erin Mastropietro, soon to be Benatar, and I'm joined alongside my co-host Michael Benatar. And Call Me Crazy, this is the podcast where we interview amazing and inspiring business owners like our guest today, Jamie Ruden, who is the founder of Dog Spotted, which is an amazing pet community that she built from the ground up, including an amazing team, all while working as a career counselor. So she's actually phenomenal. Jamie, welcome to the show. We're stoked to have you.
Thank you for having me, Erin and Michael. I'm so excited to be here.
Yes, I'm actually really excited because you are in the pet space, and we've been doing this podcast for a while, interviewing tons of business owners, but never anyone in our space. So you're at home with us, and I'm going to cheers to you because we realize we're drinking the same coffee across the globe. Jamie's from New York, and I'm drinking a La Colombe, and so is she. So cheers, and we're excited to chat.
And for those that can't see, which is basically everyone,
yes,
they're in LA with an iced coffee, and I'm with a hot coffee. So again,
get the visual.
So Jamie, tell us what Dog Spotted is, and then we can kind of get into like your previous work and how you ended up doing Dog Spotted.
Totally. So Dog Spotted came about, honestly, just from personal experiences. I grew up with dogs, Cappuccino and Taz. And then when we fostered a dog back in May during the pandemic, we realized, maybe we aren't as prepared as we thought we were, because on the second day when we brought him home, covered in fleas, head to toe. And we're like, what are we supposed to do? And so both my boyfriend and I had never dealt with fleas before. So we're searching high and low on the internet. One website saying, oh, you should do this. Another saying, oh, you should do that. And we're like, how do we know if this is a legitimate, reliable source? So I thought to myself, why is there not a space where we can bring experts together, whether that's vets or groomers or trainers or walkers or even longtime dog parents, small businesses in the pet space like you guys, and kind of bring those answers to one easy, digestible space. So that's part one. The other part was when we did finally adopt our amazing dog, Lucy. She really opened our eyes because we had an orientation, and the trainer there was like, these are the good toys, these are the bad toys, these are the good treats, these are the bad treats. And I'm like, what? Totally. And we go to Petco, and all I see are these bad toys and these bad treats. I'm like, Petco doesn't really, sorry, Petco, doesn't really care as much.
Not sponsored by Petco.
Doesn't care as much about the dog itself. I think they kind of care more about, the bottom line. And companies like Dope Dog and other small businesses really showcase the detail and care they put into their products to make sure they're safe for dogs. And I've seen that across the border. One of my other favorite stories of small businesses, I found this woman who has this company called Princely Pup, and it's a dry shampoo for dogs. And I was like, doesn't that exist? And she goes, yes, but they always say they're all organic or all natural, but they're not really. So she went out to make her own product for her dog because the groomer told her she has to get bathed often between groomings, but you have to blow dry the dog, and the dog thinks the blow dryer is its mortal enemy.
Oh my God.
So she avoids it at all costs, and that leads to the dog having to get shaved. So she created this solution that was safe for her pet. And that's something I've really seen as a trend across small businesses is they didn't see something in the market, so they solved the problem, and they have extra passion because they did it for their own pet. So why would they make it, just to make a buck? They want to make sure it's right, safe, and healthy. So we connect small businesses like you guys on their platform through discount codes, because who doesn't love a discount on their wallet, and exposure to small businesses. So it's really a win-win.
I love it. Yeah. And it's almost like this seems to be an issue with literally everything in business where you, I don't know, maybe you get a new utensil to cook with and you're like, well, is this the right one? Is this the best one to cook with? Or should I have gotten this one? Because then it just goes down this like loophole of like, well, who do I trust? And that's something that a lot of businesses need. It's like a place, a resource that you can go trust. Because I can't think of a place that I can go like, I mean, I don't cook a lot, but I don't also buy a lot of cooking utensils. But if there was a website where I'm like, of course I go there. And I actually do. I do go to Bon Appetit, their website, to get the recipes because I like the recipes and I like trust the recipes.
And the quality, yeah.
So it's something like that where, having a place like Dog Spotted can really help new dog owners or existing dog owners that have a lot of questions in literally everything, because everybody always has questions. Then you just Google it. And they're like, well, do I trust that random website that just popped up?
Yeah, and there's a lot of crappy content out there. And what I love about Dog Spotted is it's specific to your dog based on their age and what they're up to in that time period. And I think that's really smart to be so specific because, what my 10-year-old dog with arthritis needs is not what my 3-month-old puppy needs. And the training's different, and the treats are different, and the food is so different. So being able to get it curated through Dog Spotted and kind of have your own hub, I think it's a need. It's something I don't have. And, God knows Zoe is on board. So I really think it's ours. Yes.
That's our dog. Sometimes people, I feel like we're just talking about like humans. It's like, oh yeah, Zoe over there. But our dog Zoe and James.
Well, I think it's also really interesting, the psychology of dog names. When I walk Lucy, also a person name, almost every dog I meet is a Charles, a Max, a Steve, a Lola. You don't really meet a Spike or
a Bow Wow or anything.
Bow Wow, right. And it's because we see our dogs as our children.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true. Well, also, these both the dogs that we had came with names already.
Yeah, so and they were luckily human names.
Oh, you got lucky.
Yeah. Well, Zoe's sister, one of them was like Zelda.
Well, no, they were all Z's. It was like a litter of girls, and they named them all Z names. It was fun.
Yeah,
I liked it.
Fun. Lucy had a terrible name before, and it's like, who did this naming? Because they need to be removed from the process. It was BB. I was like, no.
BB. I don't know. It's weird for me when I got James. I just figured like this is his name. I'm not gonna change it. Like somebody else named him, and I'm just gonna keep going with it no matter what it was. Yeah, that's like his name.
BB. I just think BB gun, and then I think violence and.
Oh, weird! I immediately thought that weird clothing brand in the mall, BB.
That's even worse.
Isn't that Bebe?
It's not Bebe. Is it Bebe?
I don't know. That was the 90s. I definitely shopped there, though.
No, but is that not still in the mall today? Or I haven't been to a mall in a long time.
Anymore. But you know what else we do as well is we help people navigate rescues because there's actually a lot of scams out there. So it's New York City focused. And as I mentioned earlier, when we were fostering the dog, we later learned that we weren't allowed to adopt her, that the rescue only permitted people that had been approved for adopting. And I'm like, but we have the dog. He has severe separation anxiety. Like for the 3 weeks, we were sleeping on the floor on yoga mats, playing ocean music because he would cry in the crate. And so we were devastated to give him away, but they were very, very resistant in letting us keep him.
So you guys were the foster and they said no to keep him. That's
right. It's ridiculous. But you'd be surprised, there's actually a good amount of rescues that do that, which teach their own. So we have a rescue portal for New York City dog parents to start. They can actually filter by, does the organization allow you to adopt if you're fostering?
After you foster, okay.
Is it foster and breed specific rescues?
Oh, cool.
That only focus on certain breeds.
And what is something to look out for when you are going to a rescue that maybe foster or something like that? Because I think a lot of people don't know what the scams are. And I think there was maybe one or two in LA that was like weirdly, you will like hear stories about some and you're like, oh, okay, that's kind of weird.
Even what was going on. I mean, Michael's sister recently fostered and just some shady stuff going on.
Well, like surgery and like it very weird. But yeah, what do you look for when you're going? Because I think that's a big issue.
Oh, 100%. The first thing that I think you can just learn off the bat is if you go on their website, if it's difficult to find their social, like their Facebook and their Instagram, that's a red flag just because these people are trying to get these dogs out there and social is an easy and free way to do that. And most very reputable organizations will at least have a Facebook or Instagram. And if they don't, it's usually pretty sketchy because they're probably hiding something. So I'm not a fan of them if they don't have any social presence. I think that's very bizarre.
Yes.
And then a second thing is if they're kind of like, yeah, you can have the dog. They should be asking you questions. They should be asking for references. They should be asking what your lifestyle is like. Rescues really take care in ensuring they go into the right home. Like another time was when I was looking at Pet Finder, I found this dog that was just absolutely adorable. And I was speaking with the rescue about the dog and they said, this dog needs a yard. This dog has special needs. And I don't have a yard. I live in Manhattan. So they want to get these dogs to the right home versus just getting it out of their shelter. So they're really careful about it, where I feel if they were illegitimate, they would just give you the dog without a care in the world.
Yeah, I know. My friend Lindsay had tried really hard to get a dog, and she was filling out all these applications that were really thorough, and they're like, oh, you have a job. I don't know about that. Like, you're not going to be with the dog 8 hours a day. And Lindsay's like, who doesn't have a job? Like, this is LA, but come on. But yeah, some are very thorough, which is good. And they even do home visits. So yeah, if there's no process, I would definitely agree. That's a red flag.
Get out of there.
Yeah, but you'd be surprised.
Yeah, I mean, it is weird because you hear stories from it and you never think it's going to happen to you. But when it does, you're like, oh, that was weird. Like, why did they do that? Or why did they do that? Just like my sister, for instance, she had like a weird story with her dog and surgeries, and they've ended up just taking the dog back because there's like some weird legal stuff. But
yeah, there's a lot when there's issues and the vet bills, and it's kind of like, the foster parent kind of helps with that. But then it's kind of.
All right, we're going down a rabbit hole of just dog talking. All right,
let's get back to business.
So tell me, all right, I know Dog Spotted, brand new business. It's launching February 27th, correct? Yeah. We're recording this a little early, so this should be out by the time it's live. Mm-hmm. Tell us the future vision of Dog Spotted, because right now, tell us. I think we talked about if people want to know the real story, we recorded this podcast 3 weeks ago and I accidentally deleted it. So we're redoing it. So I'm asking you questions that I honestly forgot what I had. Yeah. So tell me about the business model of Dog Spotted. Because I think I remember correctly, there's no real business model yet. It's just like a passion. Mm-hmm. And I think those are the best businesses.
Those are the best businesses.
Yeah. It's funny. I've been applying to accelerators and different grants, and they always ask like, well, what's your financial model? And I have one. It's there, but it's going to be in phase 2, which is probably going to be a year from now. Okay. My goal really is to build the community and build a place where people can connect. So my business model is eyes, as weird as that sounds, just getting the eyeballs on my website, getting the eyeballs on my email, getting eyeballs on my social, because I think once people recognize the quality of content and the space we're building, that once phase 2 happens, they'll organically come and see the value in the product we're building. And the events have been super fun, and we're so happy to have you guys on last month for our New Year, New You challenge, where we tested dog parents to be the best they can be with different experts. And we do one every month. So for example, next month, we're in February. We're doing a Valentine's Day event where we're inviting Karishma, the founder of Calm Canine Academy, who does positive reinforcement training, to talk about how to best introduce your dog to a new dog. So if you're going on a date with dogs, that at least the dog interaction can go smoothly. Because we all know if the dogs don't get along, the relationship's not going to work.
I did go on a date once that I had to bring my dog to like mesh to see if their dog was okay with James.
That's cute. I didn't know that.
Yeah, obviously I didn't continue dating.
Was it because of the dogs or you guys?
I think it was just like, let's see the dog. Because I feel like if you have a dog and then you're dating somebody with a dog, if the dogs don't get along, the relationship won't work.
Oh, right? I love that.
It's a foreshadow of what's to come. They know. Right.
Yeah, they really do. And you just don't want that hassle. It's like, well, who's going to have the...
Yeah, like if it does end up working out, like the dogs aren't going.
Well, we're going to tune in, but I think people listening might not be able to tune in. So I don't know if you have next month as well.
Oh, yeah, we have.
Perfect. Oh, you have it recorded too. Okay, good. So everybody can go check out Dog Spotted and watch it. But that is a big one. I think that's a big issue. If you had a dog, would we have dated or like, oh, come over, do this, or let's go out?
Yeah.
2 dogs. It's tough.
Things. But next month I'm super excited. We're doing a virtual walkathon to raise money for dog rescues. And it's going to be 3 days so that people have the flexibility to go when they have time, because we all know the world. And it's called Walk 2 Miles to Save Dogs. And anyone can participate, even if you don't have a dog. And all the money will go to the rescues, and a portion does go to the platform running it, just for the cost. But it's going to be a great time. And it's actually on March 30th is the last day of the walkathon. It's the 27th to the 30th, but the 30th is National Take Your Dog on a Walk Through the Park Day.
Perfection.
So that's where it was inspired. So we hope to have everyone and anyone across the world join us.
I love it.
Walkathon.
You guys have nailed the events. I mean, I went to her Zoom event. First of all, it's virtual, which is tough to plan, but
to Dog Spotted.
So Dog Spotted, yeah. So I really want to get into a little bit about community and building from the ground up these events and community, because you haven't been at this for so long. And the turnout that I saw on your Zoom event, not only was there a quantity of people, the quality was great. There was some synergies. Like I even knew someone from a previous thing. So the community was real and it was built, and you can't do that overnight. It seems like you did. So can you talk a little bit about who were your first key people, or like what's your theory on building community, and you obviously are a great connector, like you can just tell, but like you build a great team and a community, and it's like, I'm really impressed. What's your take on that and community? How do you kind of start with Dog Spotted?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have to give credit, number one, to Sarah, who is my community manager. If you go to our website, you can see more information about her, but she is our community leader, as well as Yolanta, who actually has her own virtual assistant pet business. And she has been an ambassador for us, and she's actually the one that set up the challenge. But Sarah introduced me to this really great book called Get Together, and it's about building communities. And I always understood it, but never really implemented it, if that makes sense. But from my career counseling experience, I've really learned the value of networking, and the pet space is just so warm and welcoming. And everyone's really open to sharing their friends and their connections and their resources. And every time I meet someone in the pet space, they're kind enough to share a contact with them. And then it just grows organically over and over. And I found that partnerships have really been helping because we all have the same audience, right? Dog parents. So when we collaborate, we're each sharing each other's audiences to grow. And once they see the value in our community and our events and our resources, we're lucky that they stay and keep coming back. And we can diversify our content and events. And I think that also keeps them coming back.
I just finished that book, and then you're reading it now.
Yeah.
It's Sarah did recommend it to us too. So I think it's a great book, and it really does open your eyes to kind of how to build it and the steps to get there and understand why they're becoming a community. And really, once you make the community, it kind of breeds on its own, kind of like continues to grow. And I think that's the nice part about it. The hardest part is actually starting it. And I always talk about this, like, we, in every neighborhood we live in, I always want to have communities. I'm like, oh, we should have this, or we should do this. And I know no one's ever going to start it. So
Michael's
this
like in his past life was like a cult leader.
No, I
love him for it.
No.
I'm in your cult, baby.
I always just feel like, you're in your neighborhood and it's like hyper local. Like, wouldn't it be cool if on Monday nights, it was like a run club that was just run on the path or do this. And those are the things that I want. And now with the book, obviously I can understand how to build it and do it. And I want to do something like that.
And sometimes it just starts with one person in your Ruden club to start, starting small.
Well, I got to have somebody else there. So it's like some kind of community.
Okay, right? 3 people? I don't know.
But I think
small.
It's something that you can take, into your personal life or your business life with that book and understand how impactful community is. And everybody wants community. You have a sports team because you have community and you have all this. And I think for me, when I was growing up, I never really, my parents never put me into communities. So I always tried to find them myself.
And
so I went to Jewish camp as a kid, Camp Shalom. Camp Shalom in Ocala.
Okay. Mine was in No Man's Land, Connecticut, called Wani. Yeah. I could talk about Jew camp all day long.
No, but I think there you made a lot of really close connections and community, and you're friends with people to this day, I'm sure, from going to Jewish camp and doing all this stuff together. And every year you're there, and it's something that everybody wants, but doesn't realize it a lot of times. And I think in business and in whatever you're doing, it's really important. And you've built a great community right now. And Dog Spotted is so fresh, and the community is still there and growing. And I think if anybody can go read that book and understand how you can grow your community. What was the book called again?
Get Together.
But yes.
Yeah. Another really good one was I've read called Go to Market, and it's talking about being the go-to. Or no, it's go-to market. It's the go-to. Yeah. And there was one interesting anecdote about, I don't know if you guys are familiar with VRBO.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Airbnb. Okay. But
VRBO actually came pre-Airbnb.
I didn't know that, but I could see that. But they didn't get the same.
I didn't know that either.
Press.
But the reason Airbnb was successful was because of their community aspect. Think about it. When you look at their website, so community focused with community events and community programming and making it feel more homey, where VRBO feels more business.
Like a rental service or something.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what it is, right? It's a vacation rental.
But very servicey.
Yeah. But
feeling where Airbnb is much more warm and inviting, like you would want a home.
Come to the house. Have a cup of tea.
I was a Airbnb host. I rented out 2 rooms in my place, and I did feel like I had a community because all these people that came through, I actually ended up sometimes going out with oh yeah, I'll show you the town. We'll go out. I'd bring with my friends, and I'm still friends with people that stayed at one of them's coming to our wedding. Like that's how
from Airbnb.
Is that crazy?
Amazing. I love
Yeah, so like that's the kind of stuff that you never realize, but like, oh yeah, that was like a mini community, like people coming in and out of my house, and I was kind of friends with them. And for that moment of time, that was like a little community.
And I think there's an important element of what are you bonding over, which you can't really overthink. But like Airbnb, you're bonding over maybe the city that the person's visiting. Let me show you around. The common thread of like enjoying a city, and obviously Dog Spotted, the common bond of loving your pet and wanting what's best. So yeah, that book's great. There's a lot. I just
downloaded it on my Kindle, so I'm gonna read your go-to-market one. I'm gonna see that.
Community can be kind of fuzzy sometimes, and there's a lot of businesses that are like, oh, or like even larger corporations, like, oh crap, we need a community. You can't just get a community. You have to build it.
Go to the store and buy one.
No. Yeah, that's why I think. Yeah, I think.
And it's hard too, because I think for business it might be a little easier because you can kind of like shape stuff around it. But say for us, personal Instagrams or whatever it is, building that is really hard too. And I've like tried this year, I'm like trying to focus on it a little bit more to be like,
your friends are like, I can tell you're really
build a community. They're like, yeah, I'm getting texts from my friends like, what are you doing? Why are you posting all these videos? And I guess I'm trying to like find people that are interested in the weird stuff I'm interested in, but it's really hard that I'm actually understanding now. It's hard to come across and be like insightful, but also like work with the algorithm. And like, there's all these little things that make it work and like want people to follow you or like your video. And honestly, the ones that are the best ones are like the funny ones when we like slap each other's butts or something with those like Justin Timberlake song, or, those are the ones that seem to work better. But I think for me, it's like, I like find all this weird tech stuff all the time. So I start posting about that. But that's the stuff when you start looking at it closer, how like detailed it really gets to build a community, because you need to offer people something so they want to keep hanging out. And that's so hard.
Yeah. And you never know what content's going to succeed. Like we watch the guy shopping at Costco on YouTube. It's like, that is our entertainment. Like maybe we did in pandemic too long.
His name is Bobby at Flav City. Shout out to him. Great. If you ever want to go shopping at Costco and need some like a quick understanding of where everything is and what to buy, watch that guy. It's so good. And like, I don't follow his community, but I follow him on YouTube, so I can just like quickly see what the sales and healthy food is this week.
Yeah,
it is really
so funny. That's amazing.
Yes. All right, let's talk back to business. I wanted to see. So, what is phase 2 of Dog Spotted? What do you think the next step is after the community?
After the eyes.
After the foundation is built, what's next?
Ooh, if I tell you, we might have to release this a little bit later. Because it's all
be vague. Just be vague about it. Like you don't have to give us like super details, but
let's say it will be a database to connect you in a more valuable way to local businesses.
Okay, I like that.
And are you going to you're going to eventually be beyond New York? Right. I mean, you already have partners. We're across the country, obviously, but I know you have a lot of tight community in New York right now, and then going beyond that, probably. Yeah,
the hope is to go from New York to other dog-friendly cities, which really is every city, but really starting with the core ones like LA, Austin, Boston, Seattle, and just really hyper-focus on them. It's kind of like, have you ever read The Infatuation?
No.
You both
should we add that to our list too?
Yes, please.
Yes. Okay.
Done. So it's like if your best friend was a really good restaurant review critic and they do super comprehensive reviews, and they'll write in the language that we would talk, like, this is the place you take when your parents are visiting from out of town, or this place is great for like big groups because they let you split the bill, 12 different ways, or
more specific.
A lot of places don't let you do that.
It's so annoying. Well, thank God for them though. But so we hoped in a sense to be like that, or like Thrillist or Time Out, where we can have different focuses in different cities. But starting from New York, because that's where I'm based.
And what's the idea to expand? Because I was just thinking, I'm on this like text thread. I don't even live in San Francisco, but it's called The Nudge. And the Nudge they text me like weekly, like, hey, Michael, this weekend, why don't you go explore these things in town? And it's all text-based. I've literally never been to the website, maybe once to sign up, but it's all been text. And I get text. I'm like, oh, okay. They sent me a text this weekend. Hey, we're doing virtual wine tasting. I bought the wine and now I'm doing virtual wine tasting on Valentine's Day. But I was just, Yeah, and I was thinking for Dog Spotted, why not just be centered around New York? Because I think to be the hub of New York is almost as good as being like, then people will want you to be like, hey, expand out here, because it is something like this nudge thing is literally just in San Francisco, but they know everything about San Francisco.
They can get you virtually on some stuff.
And they get you virtually. And yeah, so it is like this very hyper focused, and these people are from New York because they know like, oh yeah, don't go this way or don't go over here. And like, this is the good one. And to know all that, that's hard. Mm-hmm. What's the website? Is it a Bon Appetit too? Where I'm like all the spots, like the top spots in each city. What's that website?
Eater LA. Right. Eater.
No, I don't know if it's Eater, but I think Eater's out of LA. I think it's only New York now, actually, or somebody is.
Well, we have on the website different categories, and one of them is actually called outings and like places specific you can go. And obviously, they're initially focused in New York.
Yeah.
But we are working with this woman called From Weekly Wine. She creates a letter focused on wine and dogs. I mean, is there a better combo?
Hello.
Not a better combo. Yeah.
And she and I were talking. I was like, I would love if you could write content on your favorite dog-friendly wine vineyards that you can go to.
Oh,
that's great. Love that. Or I have another ambassador, Jonathan's Journal. I'm obsessed with her Instagram account. And she's based in Astoria. And I just the other day said, hey, could you write a blog about favorite places you love taking your dog in Astoria? And she's been living there for a few years. So getting locals, who are dog parents, to write pieces on specific neighborhoods, I think is really valuable, because
for sure.
Personally, when I visit a place, I'll do the touristy things, but I also like to do the local things. Especially food tours are my favorite. I don't know if you've heard of them.
Yes.
Those
are because it's something like when you can go do the stuff the locals do, it feels a little better. And now there's some stuff that like is in LA that even though we are locals, we still do the touristy stuff. Like we go shopping at the Grove, and I don't know if you've never been to LA, but the Grove is like the mall, like where all the tourists go. They film Price is Right behind it, but we still go there because it
was our closest mall.
It was our closest mall, so we would just go there and you could pop in.
Right.
But yeah, there's something to that when that community knows so well, and you're like, damn, they're good. And especially
local opinion.
And especially when you actually end up doing it, and you're like, wow, that was great. Then you're hooked. Then you're never leaving Dog Spotted or
yeah. And there's definitely websites that highlight that, but I think the way they do it is more like a listserv, where we're doing it more from the comprehensive perspective from a local. I think that's what also differentiates us in that space. So, and then in terms of the small businesses, it's really been an amazing experience because so many small businesses want to come join us. And so if anyone signs up for our e-newsletter, which is only sent once or twice a week, it's just advice and funny stories.
It's a good one.
Content. Thanks. You get a free list of like 30 plus small business vendors giving promo codes. One of my favorite ones is obviously you guys at Dope Dog, but another one local to New York is this company called Small Door Vet. And they're so obsessed with rescues like me that they not only for your first exam with Small Door, if you have a rescue dog, is it free, but you can get their free 1-year membership of their telehealth program for free.
Oh, that's great.
Our promo code if you have a rescue dog. So there's just so many great things and different brands that do scarves or treats or beds that you would never think of. And again, they're so high quality, and supporting small businesses is so important. Why not get a discount out of it?
Oh,
that's true.
God.
I love it.
Good.
And that's really good too, because there is no, I like the community and the hub and the small businesses. And even the other day, like Erin has a side hustle she's doing, and it's she does this thing called Feed Our Cities, where she has sprouting kits that she sells on Etsy, and she sells it on there, and she's like really passionate about it, and she's getting out in the community. And a big company the other day just purchased, I don't know, like 30 of these things from her, and
as a welcome,
as like.
So you're really spreading your seed.
Exactly. Yeah, they did a little pun like that.
And it was nice because it showed that these bigger companies, that the one that purchased this was sending it out to like their employees as like a little gift. And it was nice. It's like Etsy literally is like the anti-Amazon. Like there is no like big hustlers. Like I'm going to the bookstore to buy these used books to sell them for 10 times their price on Amazon. These are like real people wanting to go shop. So I think it's something good that the companies are looking for, and something like that, where you're sending out newsletters for these smaller companies that aren't, have millions of dollars to spend on advertising, can go through a trusted community. And
they
great.
specifically picked a LA based, maybe a women's LA based brand to support. And I was like, damn, that's the kind of company you want to, work with.
Yeah.
Go check out Theater Cities. Go get some sprouts.
No, it's so funny that you say that. We're thinking also part of phase 2 to do a small dog business shopping page, like e-commerce. And then you get the promo code to sign up for our email, but you can shop through all these different businesses that we've partnered with through that. And hopefully we can get affiliate links with that too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that would work. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying the curated list of like the best like being able to shop knowing like they're handpicked and by Dog Spotted would be nice too.
Yeah, and it's funny, a lot of websites pay to be like reviewed or be on someone's website. And there's this really great website I was recently introduced to. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's called Wirecutter.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
I never heard of it before, but they're one of the top like review product websites, and they will not accept anyone trying to like pay their way in.
Were you looking to buy like a TV or something?
No, I was just talking about this and someone mentioned it, and I was like, I want to do that for dogs. Like, I don't want someone to pay me to advertise it so that people know that it's legit. But once they're there, I can then take a cut because I genuinely believe in it.
#, not an ad.
Yes.
Not sponsored.
Yeah. Do you buy it yourself and you'll review it and like, this is what I want to know about it. And those are the best, because you see, I watch a lot of weird tech reviews online. Erin knows, because she'll walk in the room and she sees me like
how many iPhone reviews do we need? How many?
But you see them like talk about it, and like if they actually bought it, they're a little bit more, critical about things, and they kind of go over it and like, okay, this is why. But yes, I agree.
Yeah. I honestly we always ask our guests what their Call Me Crazy story is. And I really don't remember yours. So hopefully you do, or think of another one. So, when were you called crazy by your friends and family as a business owner or person?
So they all know I'm dog crazy.
Yeah, obviously.
So I think they've called me crazy in that way, but whenever they see me working on this, they get it. But I think they're crazy in terms that I'm working full time and doing this on the side. And I absolutely love my full-time job, but this has become such a passion for me. And I think people think I'm a little crazy trying to start a side business. When you're working full-time, it is so hard. Most nights I'm working till midnight, just, making sure the website is ready to go, uploading blog content for my writers, working with my web development team, my community team. Like, it is nonstop. And I think they think I'm a little crazy for doing this, and I've worked so hard to get into the career that I'm in now. I went and got a separate master's just to do career counseling, but I've just always loved dogs. My first job out of college, I worked at a dog hotel, and I loved it so much, but the pay was not like sustainable for any human being, let alone a New Yorker. I had to move on, but I've always had this passion. My parents always made fun when I was in between jobs. I was like, I'm going to be a dog walker. And I got a logo. I got a domain. It was called Forever Friends Dog Walking, because I was like, I just want to be with dogs all day. And this, to me, is the best way to support dog parents, to support small businesses, to support rescues, to get to do all of that in a fun and easy way and still be around dogs. Because once the world reopens, I'd love to do in-person dog events. I couldn't be happier. And it's been such a joy meeting people like you guys, and everyone I've met has just been so lovely. And I think you mentioned this earlier about, building this community. And, when you get older, it's harder to make like genuine friendships. And through this process of building the Dog Spotted website, I genuinely believe I've made friends. And I know if I ever came out to LA, I'd want to have dinner with you guys.
Yes, of course.
Airbnb Michael's open.
Exactly. But it's just so wonderful that even during such a terrible time like the pandemic, that positive things can come out of it. And I think a lot of other small businesses are going to come up in the next months that we'll see that, unfortunately people were laid off, but it led to a new door.
I know.
Love it.
And I love what you've built, and it's clear you're in your element and this is what you're supposed to be doing. So thank you for sharing your story. That was awesome.
Yes.
Everybody needs to go to Dog Spotted,
Mhm.
dog parent or future dog parent. This is where it's at. Dogspotted.com, right?
Yeah, we'll put all the stuff in
Yeah.
the description
Yeah.
so everybody can go check it out. It will be launched by the time this podcast is out, so no fears. You can go there and check it all out.
And the Instagram's great and already up and running now.
Yes,
Dog Spotted.
Instagram is up. We were on a live last month. Is that saved that people can go rewatch or like the?
I think it's maybe
in the
online
stories or something. Maybe
stories or in the
It's
highlights.
okay. It's all right. We'll go back and watch
Look it up.
Yeah, go watch the Valentine's Day one because
Yeah.
we'll watch that one. And then March 30th, you have another event, the walking one. So all that, dogspotted.com. Jamie, thank you so much for coming on the
thanks,
show.
Jamie.
Thank you so much for having me. It was such a pleasure talking with you both.
You too.
Thanks. See ya.
Bye.